Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and I'm here with a collected group of our county leadership and local leadership in the area of emergency services and fire departments to announce an initiative that we're making in Westchester County to deal with the issue of lithium-ion batteries. We've all seen many incidents of tragedies that have occurred because of the use of these batteries in certain circumstances that have created a life-threatening or a life-determining outcome. And so here in Westchester County, what we're going to try to do is stay ahead of the process by offering legislation for the Westchester County Board of Legislators to review, also firefighter training, and an ability to store disposed batteries, those batteries that may be damaged, so that we take them out of civilian use and civilian storage. And hopefully by so doing, save the lives of individual civilians and as well those firefighters that respond to fires that may occur. We're very conscious that we're at the front end of a trend toward more items that are using these types of batteries for electrical purposes, and we also are very mindful of the stories that we've seen in New York and elsewhere where lives have been lost. I'm joined today in our presentation by Deputy Commissioner of our Department of Emergency Services, Susan Spear, and we have a host of other individuals that I will introduce one at a time to explain some elements of the program. We're here in our emergency services headquarters in Valhalla, and we're very appreciative that Commissioner Richard Wishney and his team have taken the leadership in this area. This is an area where science is still informing us of what's happening. But if we can make intelligent decisions and adjust to circumstances, if we can give all of these brave men and women who are involved in our firefighting services and our emergency services the equipment and the necessary resources, then hopefully we'll provide safety for the general population. Let me introduce Susan Spear, who is our Deputy Commissioner, who will talk a little bit more about this issue. And then right after that, we're going to see a video that will explain some of the potential hazards of these batteries. Madam Deputy Commissioner, Susan Spear.
Thank you so much, County Executive Latimer. Also, thank you to Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins, Director McDonald, Commissioner Wishney, and the many fire department leaders who have joined us here today. I also want to give a special thanks to the Department of Emergency Services Fire Division staff and our county hazmat teams, whose dedication and expertise made this initiative possible. I also want to welcome our Firefighter 1 class. These are volunteer residents from all over Westchester County who are beginning their firefighter training as volunteers throughout the county. So we really owe them a debt of gratitude, and we promise to train them up really well to deal with any lithium-ion or other fires in the county. Lithium-ion batteries power a vast range of devices and equipment that we use every single day, from smartphones to laptops to e-bikes, scooters, power tools, kids' toys. They're in our homes, they're in our offices, they're in our cars every single day. Because these devices are so common, and because their prevalence continues to grow, so does the public safety hazard to residents and firefighters from these fires. Lithium-ion batteries are very powerful sources of energy, which is exactly the reason why they can be so dangerous if not treated properly. Lithium-ion battery fires burn exceptionally hot and fast, which makes them even more dangerous than other types of fires. They release toxic gases and have a strong potential for reignition even when you think the fire might be out. Under the county executive's leadership, the Department of Emergency Services is announcing a new comprehensive program to address the public safety hazards from lithium-ion batteries. It includes proposed legislation, public education, firefighter training, and disposal options for used and damaged batteries. We appreciate the cooperation that we have received from other county departments, like the Department of Environmental Facilities and Consumer Protection, who will play essential roles in implementing this program. The proposed legislation requires point-of-sale warnings with safety information, so when you go in to purchase an e-bike with a lithium-ion battery, you will see a warning that explains what the safety hazard is for these batteries and how you can properly use them. It also requires UL standards for items that are sold in the county, which will go a long way towards making sure that people are getting items that are safe and not reassembled or reconditioned, which is prohibited by the legislation. We also are creating a public education campaign to make sure people know how to safely use, charge, store, and dispose of these batteries. Lithium-ion batteries are a part of our daily lives and will continue to be. We want to be sure that everyone knows how to properly use them, properly charge them, and properly store them to keep themselves, their families, and our firefighters safe. Thank you.
Thank you to our Deputy Commissioner, Susan Spear. Now we have a video that will highlight some of the concerns that we have regarding lithium-ion batteries.
Hi, I'm Lou Vitrone. I'm Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Facilities. We're here today to talk about lithium-ion batteries. You may have seen recent media reports about dangerous fires that have resulted from lithium-ion batteries in Westchester County and throughout the nation. We're here to talk today about safety tips for residents and disposal options for these batteries when they're damaged and when they're not damaged.
Lithium-ion batteries are a wide use across our county. They are found in cell phones, laptops, toys, power tools, to mobility devices such as scooters, mopeds, and even up to large electric vehicles. One of the issues with lithium-ion batteries compared to older battery technologies is they have tighter tolerances for damage. In rare cases, we have issues with batteries that may have a manufacturer defect, but in other cases, it's just due to damage that people through everyday life have occurred to their batteries, whether they have dropped their cell phone or dropped their laptop. They've left the phone sitting charging in the heat on top of a radiator to leaving it in a hot car in the summer. They can go through a process called thermal runaway. There is a chemical reaction that occurs inside the battery. They get very hot, they emit extremely highly flammable and toxic gases. These happen extremely fast, and the best thing for you to do is to just leave the area and call 911. Things that you should watch out for at home are things such as leaking liquids, the battery swelling. Has the battery been drop and dented? Is the battery making odd noises? Always make sure that you are buying original equipment manufacturers, charging cords and chargers. There are no quality control being followed appropriately with aftermarket. It is better to choose devices marked Underwriters Laboratories and other agencies like that. Proper places to charge your lithium-ion battery devices and individual batteries are on hard, non-porous surfaces. They should never be charged on a bed. They should never be charged on upholstered furniture. They should never be left underneath pillows or other devices like that that help to hold in heat. They should be clean, hard surfaces where you charge your batteries. Never ever charge your batteries on top of radiators. You should make sure that you are charging them at room temperature. Never ever put the charger and the battery in a pathway to exit the area. Never charge the batteries while they're being unattended, and never while you're sleeping. So always make sure that you're awake and around, so in case there is an issue, you can identify it early.
Westchester County residents can dispose of lithium-ion batteries, damaged or otherwise ready for disposal, at the county's Household Material Recovery Facility, or HMRF, in Valhalla. To make an appointment to visit the HMRF, call the Recycling Helpline at 914-813-5425, or go online at environment.westchestergov.com. Residents should always take safety precautions when transporting damaged lithium-ion batteries. These batteries should be packed in sand or kitty litter. If a lithium-ion battery is experiencing a thermal event, such as sparking or fire, they should immediately call 911. Local fire departments are trained to handle these events and also to prevent reignition. Extra-large lithium-ion batteries, such as those used in electric vehicles, are not accepted at the HMRF. Residents should contact the manufacturer to find out about safe disposal options for those batteries. Thank you for watching this short video. For more information, you can go to environment.westchestergov.com. Let's keep Westchester County safe.
We have our Department of Emergency Services Hazmat Chief, Doug Stiller. He's Chief of Special Operations, and he will talk a little bit more about what this hazard is like. Doug?
Thank you, County Executive.
So we're all used to having traditional technologies of batteries, such as alkaline batteries, that could be dropped, kicked over, run over, and not really have a problem. Today's day and age with lithium-ion batteries, with the amount of energy that's stored inside of them, they have a lot tighter tolerances to damage. So when we're looking for those types of things, that's the stuff we need to look at early and get rid of the batteries before it causes a problem. As mentioned in the video, one of the biggest things that we have problems with lithium-ion batteries is that they go through a process called thermal runaway. It's a chemical reaction that occurs, and once it starts, you cannot stop it. It's going to catch fire, create flames, gases that are highly flammable, highly toxic, things such as hydrogen gas and hydrofluoric and hydrogen fluoride gases that are out there. These things are extremely toxic and do not take a lot of gas to injure yourself. All right, other issues that happen when we're having thermal runaway are things such as jetting flames that may come several feet out of the battery case, sparks that may be shot across a room, and flying debris that comes from the battery casings. So these batteries have tighter tolerances to abuse. So what do you need to look for? We need to watch out for things such as overcharging the battery or over discharging the battery. These can cause issues to the battery internally that you may not be able to see if you're not paying attention to how you're using your chargers properly. This means we have to use devices that are manufactured by the original equipment manufacturer. One of the lot of issues that we're finding are aftermarket devices that don't have the battery management systems in place to monitor the battery during charging that keep these types of issues from happening. And the last, as I've already said, was physical abuse, dropping them, having them have dents, taking your scooter, jumping it off a curb. These all can cause damage to your e-scooter batteries, your mobility, other devices, your hoverboards, and objects like that. So what should you look for? We should be looking for things such as swelling of the case of the battery no longer holding a full charge. When we find batteries like that, we should remove them from service and recycle them as according to state law with all rechargeable batteries that are out there. If you come across batteries that are emitting odors or are extremely hot or they're making noises such as popping sounds, you need to call 911. Those are emergency situations with these batteries. I have here to my left, we have examples of batteries that have actually gone through a thermal runaway. The damaged ones are there on the left, and we have similar batteries of what they looked like normally before that has happened. We also have on display here as well a lot of the equipment that we carry here with the hazardous materials team, and several departments in the county have it as well, are specialized materials and containers that we use to overpack these batteries once they have gone through a thermal runaway. One of the problems with these batteries is that once this happens, we could have problems with these batteries for days or weeks later, and it's not something that we can put into the normal trash. So as we stand here today, our volunteer county hazmat team stands ready to assist all departments in the county. Over the last 11 months, this has been an issue here in the county, and we've responded to numerous departments around the county, helping them with these battery issues. And we're always ready with this equipment to assist them. All right? So again, if you find batteries that have popping sounds, flames, and or smoke, please leave the area and call 911.
Thank you very much, Doug Stiller. The proposal that we're presenting today involves proposed legislation. It also involves general public education, some of which you've seen and the things that Doug Stiller has talked about. We also have within this proposal firefighter training to ensure that how these particular things need to be dealt with are done at the highest level of professionalism. And then also the issue of storage for those that are damaged. We don't want them in your personal possession, you want to turn them in. Westchester County is prepared to help in that regard. I'm joined today by our Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins. James Nolan, a member of the Westchester County Board of Legislators, is here. The Board of Legislators will review the legislation that we submit to them, which will include point-of-sale notification warnings, so that when a person buys one of these batteries, they're informed up front about what some of the issues that Doug's talked about are necessary for you to consider, and then it also includes some other elements in that legislation. When we look at how are we going to handle the storage issues, our Department of Environmental Facilities are responsible for that at the HMRF, the Household Material Recovery Facility, which is located elsewhere here on the Valhalla campus. I'm going to invite our Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Facilities, Vince Capicchi, to join me and share some of his thoughts about this, and he'll be followed by Lou Vitrone, who's our First Deputy Commissioner of the same department. Commissioner.
I consider myself very lucky because I report to County Executive Latimer, Deputy County Executive Jenkins, and Director of Operations Joan McDonald. They are very, very supportive of all of our operations, all of our projects. I'm also very lucky because I have a great staff, very knowledgeable, very dedicated, very hardworking. As far as this initiative is concerned, all of the work, basically, Deputy Commissioner Lou Vitrone and Assistant Commissioner Melissa Rotini. And speaking of hardworking, dedicated people, I'd like to invite Lou up to discuss a little bit more about this initiative.
Thanks, Commissioner. I would also like to thank County Executive Latimer, Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins, Director of Operations Joan McDonald for their leadership on this vital safety initiative. I'd like to thank the Department of Emergency Services, Commissioner Wishney, Deputy Commissioner Spear, and Chief Stiller for their tireless efforts on this project. And also, as the Commissioner said, Melissa Rotini, our Assistant Commissioner at DEF. So as for disposal, as you heard earlier, residents in Westchester County can take lithium-ion batteries, both damaged and undamaged, to the Household Material Recovery Facility around the corner here on the Grasslands campus. The HMRF is open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. To make an appointment, residents should call the recycling hotline, which is 914-813-5425, or they can simply go online at environment.westchestergov.com to make an appointment to visit the HMRF. There are other programs for disposal that are available to residents in Westchester. New York State offers a program that's administered by Call to Recycle, and that's for lithium-ion batteries that are under 25 pounds and that are non-e-mobility batteries. Some manufacturers will take back lithium-ion batteries that are used in their products, and some e-bike retailers, even some here in Westchester, will accept back lithium-ion batteries used to power e-bikes. For more information on those programs, I would also urge residents to go to the website at environment.westchestergov.com. We've worked with the Department of Emergency Services to work out protocols so that fire departments that are trained can deliver lithium-ion batteries that have been damaged to the HMRF off hours when the HMRF is not open for business. And that will be through a code that they receive through 60 Control, and fire departments will they'll sign up and they'll receive that training from the Department of Emergency Services on how to access the HMRF off hours to get rid of lithium-ion batteries when we're not open. And finally, I would just urge residents who are traveling with damaged lithium-ion batteries to take all safety precautions and to pack those batteries in sand or kitty litter. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Lou Vitrone, who's our First Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Facilities, Commissioner Vince Capicchi. Also, Melissa Rotini is with us here today, and other professionals from that department. The plan with the multifacets to it includes an important element of information to the public, both the consuming public and also that level of the public that are the retailers that sell these products. We have a terrific gentleman who serves as our head of consumer protection, James Maisano, a lawyer by profession. He served many years in the Westchester Board of Legislators, served as its vice chair, and now we've had the good fortune of having him head up our consumer protection operations for the last 5+ years. Jim?
Thank you, George.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. So Consumer Protection has enjoyed working with the County Executive's Office on this legislation and these ways to combat the dangers of lithium-ion batteries, along with emergency services and environmental facilities. The county is really working well together to address this issue. Our role is to be the enforcer Despite all the best intentions we all have, part of the legislation is to enforce the law, to identify people that violate the law. Our office is one of the most active offices in the county dealing with administrative hearings and dealing with tickets, so it's something we do all the time. Our office will go to the sites when it's identified signage or the selling of improper bikes or mobility devices, and we will write the ticket. And after that, we'll hold settlement conferences and hearings and eventually assess penalties. Because, as I said, despite our best intentions, we'll find problems. We deal with all the consumer protection laws. So we're going to enforce this law just like we enforce all the other consumer protection laws. The fine for each instance will be up to $1,000. At first, it looks like we've identified about 15 to 20 stores that we will be inspecting on a regular basis to make sure they're following the law, but I imagine that number may grow as we begin enforcing this law. I would also point out that we also regulate 10,000 contractors, and these type of lithium-ion batteries are becoming more common for contractors to use, in particular landscapers who are being pushed to use battery-operated leaf blowers, for example. They're very excited that the county's being aggressive on this and looking forward to take advantage, as we just learned about from the Department of Environmental Facilities, drop-off places for these batteries. Some of these gardeners now might have 5 batteries at the end of the day in the back of their truck, and they got to dispose of them. So all of this issue is more widespread than you even imagine because the contractors looking forward to take advantage of this program as well. So we're the enforcer. We do point out that one of the reasons you have consumer protection is we're not the district attorney. We do compliance. We're trying to push people to comply with and follow the law. And we'll do the same thing with this law. We'll push our retailers, particularly at the beginning, in a friendly way to make sure they're following the law and that they comply with the law. At the end of the day, we're looking forward to be part of this. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you, Jim Maisano. And I want to reemphasize what Jim said. The enforcement mechanism here is not intended to punish. It's intended to gain compliance. If we get compliance, then we can avoid the possibility of tragedy. That's the purpose behind it. And I think Jim and his department looks forward to using the education function and the information function as the cutting edge of this. But the legislation as proposed does include enforcement and does include penalties. And so let us be clear that this is an important priority. And what's at stake is not anything other than saving lives, the potential to save lives if these batteries are stored in an improper way or they're sold in a manner in which they should not be sold, and they then cause a tragedy to occur. Behind me are many individuals who are expert at fighting fires. They and the people that they direct have dealt with all types of fires, high-rise fires, intense fires in commercial settings, industrial settings, as well as those in a residential setting. And we rely on them for our safety. From community to community to community, they have kept us protected extremely well with very, very few fire fatalities. On their behalf, I'm asking Andy Sander, who is the fire department chief, and he's also he's fire department chief in New Rochelle, and he's chair of the County Fire Advisory Board, to share some of his thoughts, as in part of this is firefighter training to make sure that the firefighters are well versed on handling what is in essence a newer technology that represents a different means of protecting people from fire. Chief Sander. Thanks.
Okay. Good afternoon. The Westchester County Fire Advisory Board appreciates the county executive and the Board of Legislators working with the county's Department of Emergency Services in taking action to help prevent lithium-ion battery-related fires. The proposed county legislation will go a long way towards alleviating the fire risk that, although these batteries do a lot of good, they do sometimes result in harm in our communities. My particular jurisdiction in the city of New Rochelle has had at least 5 such lithium-ion battery fire events in the last 3 years, in locations ranging from the back of a garbage truck where a discarded e-bike had been tossed, to the loading dock of Home Depot where Jim Maizano was describing earlier. The contractors don't know how to dispose of their batteries. They leave them in the Home Depot parking lot. Home Depot takes them inside. They don't know what to do with them. They're sitting on the loading dock, and eventually there was an incident that started a fire with that. We had a car dealer where an electric vehicle had been brought for service after Hurricane Ida, and there was a battery incident there, and also several, sadly, multifamily apartment buildings, and obviously that's the worst because it's the highest concentration of life. The worst fire, a multifamily about 2 blocks from City Hall in New Rochelle at Wanda Boulevard, resulted in several residents of the building having been displaced for several weeks. So not a good scene. Fortunately, no one was injured at that event. And keep in mind, that's just New Rochelle. We have fire chiefs from several other jurisdictions here, and they've had the same situations go on. And again, that's the point of this. One big part of this outstanding county plan is public information and awareness. That is working. New Rochelle Fire Headquarters receives calls weekly from concerned residents regarding e-bike storage, charging, etc. We work with building managers and supers to provide best practices and guidance for their residents. It's anticipated that this legislation and public information program will go a long way in keeping the people we serve safe from lithium-ion battery fires.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chief Sander. We appreciate all of the individuals who have shared their portion professionally of this issue. Again, our proposal here is multifaceted. It involves legislation that requires point-of-sale warnings and safety information, requirements that the devices meet the underwriting laboratories, the UL safety standards, and prohibiting the sale of reassembled or damaged batteries. The program also includes public education, firefighter training, and disposal options for damaged and old batteries. We view this as a good place to start our efforts, but we won't end it with this. We look at it as a process for which we're going to learn exactly what's going to happen in the years to come. We believe that lithium-ion batteries are going to continue to be used in more and more settings in our society, and while science and technology may make them safer over time, we have to deal with them in the real world right now. And I want to extend my personal appreciation and our executive team to our professionals here at the Department of Emergency Services, to all of the professionals out there in the various municipalities, because it is out of their input and their insight that this program has been developed. The members of the Board of Legislators will receive this legislation. They will go through the normal review process, public hearings, public discussions in committees before they take action on it. There may be modifications to the legislation depending on the input that the board receives and the thinking of the individual members of the board, and we look forward to having that dialogue. We look forward to ultimately its passage and implementation as a law. If any of our friends in the press have any questions, this would be an appropriate time to do it, or we can do interviews separately. A lot of our speakers are excellent on-camera presences for the videos that you might be doing. So if there are any questions, I'll be happy to take them. And if not, we thank you very much for being here today. Again, thank you to DES for your work, DEF, Consumer Protection, and all of the people that keep us safe every day. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. Thank you for watching. Please be safe.